Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn how to set up Ubuntu 24.04 EC2 instance in AWS Cloud. So if you look at the prerequisite, yes, you need to have AWS account configured. If you are completely new to AWS Cloud, you can actually set up AWS Free Tier. The way you can do that is by going into Google, and then if you just type AWS Free Tier account, all you have to do is just click on this particular link, and then you can sign up using your personal email address. You might have to enter your credit card information. So that's how you can set up your AWS free tier account. AWS is going to give you a lot of services which would be available for you to use with a very minimal amount. So this is the best way to learn your AWS cloud knowledge. Awesome. So let's get started. So we need to log in into AWS console in order to create a EC2 instance. So EC2 instance is nothing but it's a virtual server provided by AWS Cloud in order to run the EC2 instance, run this computing machine virtually in AWS Cloud. Okay. So the way you're going to configure that is you need to click on launch instance. And then we have to give some name. Let's say that you're trying to set up Jenkins or Tomcat or Nexus or whichever the server you wanted to configure. So let's say in this scenario, I'm going to configure EC2 instance for Jenkins. And then you can go ahead and then give some name. If you want to add additional tags, you can also do that as well, but this is fine for me. And then if you see here, the next step is we need to choose the AMI. So AMI is nothing but it's kind of a template which is available in AWS Cloud. So AMI is kind of a template which is created by AWS Cloud. If you wanted to create any kind of operating system, AWS have created this Amazon machine image, and shortly it's called AMI. In our case, we are going to go ahead and provision Ubuntu EC2 instance. So Ubuntu is a type of Linux flavor. So all you have to do is just select this one. And then as you can see here, there are a bunch of AMIs available for us. So they have recently introduced 24.04. So we are going to go ahead and then select this. But if you wanted to create another Ubuntu server, then you can choose that as well. Okay. But in our video, we are going to go ahead with 24.04. And then, so now again, right, based on your existing configuration, it may ask you, you want to confirm your changes. So go ahead and then click on confirm changes. Okay, perfect. And then we are going to go ahead and then select the instance type. So generally speaking, for AWS free tier account, they are going to give us t.micro instance, which is like 1 CPU and then 1 gig memory. But obviously, right, that is not good enough for us. So if you want to bump it up, you can actually choose this one. This is what I would recommend. Again, depending on the computing need, whatever you're going to configure on this EC2 instance, you can choose, right? So if you want to have dual CPU, you can also go ahead and then select this option as well. But I think for our use case, I think this is good enough. But again, if you are configuring SonarQube or if you're configuring Nexus, you may need to have slightly higher configuration. So, but anyway, for this very simple lab exercise, this is more than enough. Okay. And then this is the next important thing. So basically this talks about, how you are going to connect to our EC2 instance securely from our local machine. For example, so if you look at this diagram, so this is you, and then this is your laptop or desktop, whatever you are using right now currently. And then we are actually creating EC2 instance in AWS Cloud, right? So it is going to be running in the public cloud. So if you wanted to connect from your local machine securely, right? In that case, what we have to do is we need to create SSH keys. Okay, if you want to connect to your EC2 instance in a secure manner, this is recommended. Okay, so that is what this particular step is. Let's say if you already have your existing keys, you can also go ahead and then choose your existing key. If you already have, you don't have to create a new key every time you are actually provisioning new EC2 instance. You can always use your existing key. So let's say that I don't have any key exist. In that case, obviously, right, I need to create a new key pair. So click on this one. So make sure you give some name. So in my case, I want to, let's say I want to give this name, right? I mean, you can make sure the key does not exist. So if you see here with this name already exists, but let's say I wanted to give this name my Jenkins May 24. Okay, and then rest everything you can leave it as it is. Okay, if you look in this diagram, so this is our machine. We are going to connect to our EC2 instance securely, right? So we may have to use some kind of SSH terminal. So if you're using, let's say, Windows, you can use Git Bash. Okay, or if you're using MacBook, you can actually use iTerm. So if you see my local machine, I have already installed iTerm. So basically using iTerm also, you can connect to your EC2 instance securely. So that is what we are actually doing over here, right? So we need to download the keys. Using this key, we would be connecting to our EC2 instance securely. Okay. And this one, if you are going to, you can select this option. If you think that you're going to use PuTTY, then you have to go with this option. But we are going to use OpenSSH kind of a terminal. So this is actually good enough. Okay. And then go ahead and then click on create key pair. So what this will do is this will go ahead and then download the keys on your local machine. So once the key is downloaded, let's move on, right? And then I will show you how we can use our keys, this key, in order to connect to our EC2 instance in a secure manner. We will talk about that in a minute. Okay. And then this one is, like the next step is we need to configure network settings. So as you can see in this diagram, since we are creating this EC2 instance in the public cloud, we need to make sure that we need to secure our EC2 instance, right? So we don't want anyone to access our EC2 instance by accessing different port numbers and whatnot. Okay, so we need to make sure that we need to open only the port numbers that we need to open the port numbers only what we would be using. Okay, so since we have created SSH keys, this would be connecting to this EC2 instance using port number 22. So if you see here, we need to edit the firewall rule, network settings. So click on edit. So you can see here port number 22 is opened by default. Okay, so you can leave it as it is. And then depending on what you're going to configure on this EC2 instance, let's say you're trying to configure Jenkins. So Jenkins default port number is 8080. Or let's say you're trying to configure SonarQube. SonarQube default port number is 9000, right? So in that case, you're going to go ahead and then click on add security group rule. And then you're going to open up port numbers. So in our case, let's say I'm planning to set up Jenkins on this machine, right? That's why I named this EC2 as Jenkins. In that case, I'm going to open up port number 8080. Same port number also can be applied for Tomcat as well. Tomcat also going to be using 8080, right? So you can also use the same port number. Okay. And then over here, so this is like how you want to access this EC2 instance on this particular port number. So when you give like this, it means that you will be able to access this EC2 instance on this port 8080 from anywhere. So this is also okay, but if you think that you wanted to access only from your local machine, then you can go ahead and then provide you can choose this option. So when you do that, it will automatically pick up your IP address of your computer or laptop, and then from this port number, once you select this, it means that you would be able to access port 8080 on this IP address, right? But I would not recommend to select this way. Why? Because every time you meaning your IP address would be changing, right? If you kind of restart your laptop or computer, your IP address may change unless you have permanent IP address. Okay, so I don't recommend to choose this option. So let's go ahead with anywhere. Okay, so this is totally fine. All right. And then the next step is we need to configure the root volume. Again, right, depending on the storage what you would need, depending on the type of applications that you are going to configure on this virtual server, you need to configure the storage. But I think this is good enough for me for this root volume. Okay, perfect. So if you look at here, this is a quick summary, right? But let's say that you wanted to configure two EC2 instances, then you can go ahead and then increase that, right? I mean, depending on how many EC2 instances you want. There is also limit for AWS Free Tier. I don't think you can create like more than 5 EC2 instances. I'm just kind of letting you know. But again, depending on how many EC2 instances you wanted to configure, you can select here. So this is a quick summary, right? So we are actually provisioning Ubuntu 24.04 EC2 instance, and then this is the instance type, and then we have configured our firewall rule. We have opened port number 22, which is open by default, and then we have added port number 8080 because we are going to configure Jenkins on this EC2 instance, right? And then this is the the root volume. So that's it, right? So let's go ahead and then click on launch instance. So this would take few seconds. I also provided instructions on my website as well. So I will be posting the link right below the video as well. So there is also a small link here which talks about how you can connect to the EC2 instance from your local machine. So when you click on this particular link, so that will take you over here. So depending on the type of laptop you're using, whether it is Windows or iOS, you should be able to connect to your EC2 instance. Okay, so I have provided instructions on Windows laptop. I also have provided instructions on MacBook as well. All right, so let's quickly see. There you go. The EC2 instance is up and running right now. So now I'm going to show you how we can connect to our EC2 instance from our local machine. It's not that really difficult. So click on this one and then click on connect. So as you can see here, there are 4 different options, right? Okay. So this we don't want to connect like this. Okay, if you want, you can also connect like that, but we don't want to do like that. If you want to use AWS session manager, you can also do like that. But we have created SSH key, so we are going to go ahead with this particular option, and then all the steps are given over here. So it is asking, okay, open your SSH client. In our case, we have installed iTerm, but you can also use terminal as well. Okay, let's say you're using iOS but you wanted to use terminal, you can also use terminal as well, but I'm not a big fan of it. I wanted to use a tool called iTerm. I have already downloaded iTerm, but if you wanted to know how to install, again, you can go to Google and then say iTerm download. You can go here, you can go to Google and then say iTerm download, iTerm for Mac download, and then you can install this one. Okay, so you can also use that one as well. Anyway, let me go back here. Let's go back here, and then the second step is it is saying locate your private key file. So if you guys remember, we have downloaded this particular key on my local machine, right? So let me first type pwd. So it's going to tell me which directory I am in right now, and then we need to navigate to our downloads directory because that is where we have downloaded our keys, and then you can see whether the key is there or not by executing this ls-al command. So as you can see here, we are able to locate our keys, and then if you look at this particular step, which is the next step, you can see here what they are saying is make sure that your key is not publicly viewable, and then you can do so by executing this particular command. But if you see here, our key is like it has both read and write access, right? So anyone should be able to modify. We don't want that. Rather, we want to make sure that our key is not publicly viewable. So copy this command and then enter. And then if you go back and then type ls-al, there you go. You see here now we have only read only. So please do understand, guys, this step is only needed if you are connecting from MacBook. But if you are using a Windows laptop, you don't even have to worry about executing that particular command. You can directly go to your downloads folder, and then you should be able to SSH just like that. Okay, so just kind of letting you know. Okay, all right. So and then the next step is this is what it is, right? Look at that. The next step is connect to your EC2 instance using the public DNS name. So basically we are going to SSH by using this key. This is the default username for Ubuntu, and then this is the public DNS name, as you can see here. So just copy that and then go ahead and then paste it over here, enter. It is asking, are you sure you want to continue connecting? We just need to type yes. Wow, there you go, guys. You all see here. So we are completely connected to our EC2 instance, Ubuntu EC2 instance, which is actually running in AWS Cloud. All right. So yeah, that is how, guys, that is how you can create Ubuntu 24.04 EC2 instance in AWS Cloud. And then that is how you can connect from your local machine. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching, everyone.